And it all started because I just emailed the Dallas Cowboys website, just a generic account. I was just like, can we come visit and interview Jerry Jones? No, it wasn't even visit, was it? It was just, can we interview Jerry on Zoom?
Yes,
that's all it was.
That's it.
It's like, can I interview Jerry Jones on Zoom? And they were like, nope. He's not doing a lot of press right now. Which I get it because I was just emailing randomly. And so I said, okay, cool. Well, I'm actually in the media, and this is who I am. And I really fattened up the resume. It was all legitimate stuff, but I was like, my name is Bobby. I, like Jerry, am from Arkansas. I have, the radio show, a couple New York Times bestsellers. I have an honorary doctorate from the University of Arkansas. I just really laid it on. A couple TV shows.
I mean, now that you put it this way.
I know. It was pretty good. It's pretty. Even when I read it back, it's like, dang.
You've done a lot.
Okay,
wow.
then.
Like, what? So then they said, well, we'll actually run this by Mr. Jones and see if it's something he'd want to do. So the next thing we go is like, yeah, he'd love to talk to you guys. We'll find some time. And then they say, would you like to come to town and just do it in person? And we're like, are you kidding? So this is on our football show, 25 Whistles. We can't even believe that they were going to let us talk to him on Zoom. And so then it turns to, we find one date, and Mike D and I are, I'm not going to say pessimists, I'm going to say realists. And we just knew at some point it was going to get canceled. And we did get a note that was like, hey, we may have to postpone this because of some stuff that's happened, like OBJ, who's thinking about signing in Dallas. But there was some stuff where Jerry maybe was not available. And finally, last minute, they're like, come on, let's go. So we go down. And we're in Dallas, and we're like the night before. And I tell Mike, is this really going to happen? And Eddie is such a positive person. Eddie always felt it was going to happen.
I already dreamt what it was going to be like.
He was in love with the idea. He was in love with being there. And Mike and I were like, man, it's going to be even more disappointing when we get the call an hour out.
Yeah.
And we just assumed we would be one of 5 or 6 groups of people that they would take care of and allow some sort of media access. So they say, meet Mr. Jones at his private hangar and you can ride to the game with them. And we thought it would be like, because sometimes record labels will take a bunch of program directors to a show, and then you meet with the artist and you have a few minutes and you watch the show. We thought it would be something like that. No. It was just us. There were 4 seats that were looking at each other. It was me, Jerry, Steven, his son, and Jerry Jr., his son. And that's it. We all have headsets on. We're just talking, hanging out.
How old are his kids?
50s.
Yeah, they're older.
Yeah. He has a daughter too named Charlotte, who we were with later. But it was like they let us into. We were like, it was weird.
It was their world
in the most amazing way. We're in the helicopter and he's showing us stuff as we're flying over to the game, and he's like, let's just go around the stadium again. Let's show him this. And we're just flying in the helicopter with Jerry Jones. We have headsets on, like in the TV shows, like, yeah, Jerry, what do you do? And so you don't have to push a button. You just start talking, and it hears you. And, there's some, like, personal private stuff that we're talking about, which I would never share. But we're really, like, getting to know each other in a really personal, intimate way, just, like, sharing stories. And I'm like, Eddie and Mike got to be loving. Because they're Eddie, Mike, and Caitlin are in a row just behind them. And we're the only ones in the helicopter. And everybody's got headsets on. I'm like, Eddie and Mike got to be loving the fact they can hear all this. This is like inside stuff about the Cowboys, about my life, Jerry's life. And so we get out, and I was like, wasn't that so cool of Jerry to share all that, like be that vulnerable? And Eddie goes, my headset never worked.
No way.
No.
What?
I said, what do you mean? He has the cord, and he's like, it never plugged in.
Guys, I followed the cord. I'm like, it's not working. And it was like unplugged. And there's nowhere to plug it. And
I was like, wasn't that super
anything.
cool about Jerry Jones and what he's doing for the military? And the goal?
No.
And
Well, I mean, at least.
did yours work? No, and Mike's was unplugged too.
Oh my
But
gosh.
Caitlin's did work, and Caitlin was hopping. She's so confident in like who she is, and she connects with people so well. She's in the conversation, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, Eddie's like the sweetest, nicest guy, and he's not saying anything. Like, I kind of wished Eddie would be a part of the conversation.
I mean, it's almost probably like you probably thought Mike and Eddie were just frozen because
well,
they're
Mike
so...
never talks. That's the reason he's quiet.
Yeah,
Mike.
that's par for the course.
But Eddie.
And Jerry would look back like he was including us in the conversation. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, man. I see your lips moving, but I don't know what you're saying.
It's so loud.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we fly to the game, and as soon as we get out of the chopper, I don't want to share too many stories because the whole thing's going to be up on 25 Whistles. Not today, but this week. We walk out, and Jerry's like, Bobby, come here. I was like his best friend for the day. It's like I'd won a contest or something because it wasn't I had access for a minute. I was with him the whole day, and he kept going, hey, come check on me. What do you need? Can I get you something? And I was like, I'm just trying to stay out the way. He goes, no, not with me. You're not staying out the way. You are the way. Like, let's go.
Right.
And so at one point, we get out of the helicopter, and there are all these Dallas Cowboy fans, and they see Jerry land, and they're like, oh. And Jerry, he goes, Bobby, come here. And I walk over, and there's people everywhere, and he goes, hey, everybody, this is Bobby Bones. And I kid you not, every single person had no idea who Bobby Bones was, and that was okay. They were like, Jerry, yeah. And he was like, and Jerry goes, they love you, man. And they didn't. They didn't give a crap.
You're like, dude, they care about you.
But I was like, thank you, Jerry. This is awesome. We have a couple clips, right? Like promo clips that we'll do here. I sat with Jerry for almost a half hour with a microphone, aside from the hours we spent with him. I'm going to tell you this. If you're a Cowboys, let's say you're an Eagles fan or you're a Giants fan, Jerry Jones is a villain because he's your team's arch nemesis and he's the face of it. So you either love Jerry because you're a Cowboys fan, or you're like, that's Jerry Jones. He's owner of the Cowboys. He's a villain because in sports we have villains.
That's right.
He's like such a dude, like just a sweet guy that I was like, this is unbelievable.
Okay, sorry. I asked how old his kids are. How old is he?
80.
80. Okay.
Yeah, he's 80 now.
Because, like, I don't know how many 80-year-olds you hang out with that are like, he's just like one of us.
But he's so with it for
He
80.
really is.
He has $14 billion, so he's not one of us.
You're like, he's just a dude's dude.
Yeah. But he's like, he literally was so kind, which I was in disbelief because even he doesn't have to be at all. He could have easily not been, and we'd have been like, this is cool. Thanks for letting us come to the game for free tickets. I asked Jerry about his biggest failures in life because he's known as a super success, and this is a quick answer.
About 15 years ago, I landed at Love Field, took my card up to rent a car from I think, Hertz, and they looked down a list and cut my card into it and said, young man,
cut it in front of you?
You need to learn how to pay your bills. Now, that's a hard day in Dallas, not necessarily a one-loss record with the Cowboys.
He was talking about when he first got the team, they went 1-15. They played 16, maybe less games than that then. But he's like, that's not the hardest because he grew up, his parents had a grocery store. He didn't have any money. And so he was talking about like real life versus what he gets to do now. He's like, one win of an entire season, that's not hard life. What's hard is when you don't have any money and you fly into Love Field and they cut your credit card up because you can't even afford a rental car.
So when did they cut that up?
I think his time was, I think he said
15 years
I
ago.
think
it
it
was like 15
hey,
years
COVID
ago.
messes
Whoa,
us
whoa.
all up
Yeah,
one time.
sure. He was off on the dates,
He's
I
off on the
think.
dates a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, how
Maybe-
long has he been a billionaire?
Maybe he meant 50. Man, he could have said 50. No, but they have credit cards then?
I don't know.
I don't know. I still ask him too, like, you still get nervous before a game?
Very nervous. I'm nervous right now. I always have, but really almost sick nervous. But you need to be positive to play football. I played football for the Razorbacks. It hurt me to play football. One time my trainer said, Jones, you've got to have the lowest tolerance for pain of any kid we've ever had with the Razorbacks. And I said, damn it, Groundy, it hurts me more than it does everybody else. I'm brave to be out there. It hurts more than they do.
It was awesome. We'll share more on our 25 Whistles podcast if you want to follow that. Eddie, on your...
What?
You couldn't wipe a smile off his face.
I was telling someone that there was a photographer on the field and he was taking pictures of me, and I'm like, hey man, I'm not famous. He's like, no. The look on your face every time you see a football player is priceless. So I'm getting pictures of that.
He was yelling their names. Amy, we're on the field. We got to go on the, not even just like press. Like, we got to go like we own the field. And Eddie's like yelling at them by name.
All of them.
That's good.
No. I'm telling you.
But I was pumping him up, Bones.
It was like,
hey, let's go, baby.
It was
let's
like he was 5 years old. He was like, Diggs! Diggs! And he would look, and then Eddie wouldn't know what to do because Eddie was so close to Diggs. Diggs thought Eddie was like a coach or something.
And so Eddie would freeze up.
Eddie would just do nothing.
Oh, Eddie.
He was like 5 feet away.
He thought Caitlin was yelling at him once. One of the players did, and so they look at Caitlin because they think Caitlin's like yelling at, and he's like, "Hey," and it's Eddie going. Eddie turns around and goes, "Oops."
I'm like, oh, and I got nothing to say now.
Really one of the,
Amazing.
So cool.
The best part of it for me was that Eddie and Mike are such massive Cowboys fans that we got to do that, and that they got to do that. Like, that's the coolest part to me. Jerry was super nice. We'll have a lot of stories on 25 Whistles. Go follow that podcast. But it was amazing. That's all I'm going to say. It was amazing. Do you have any question before we go on here? Because if you have anything, let me know. Forever.
Well, I mean, you shared a lot of the highlights, but I guess from Eddie and Mike D, what's their number one favorite moment?
I can't.
You have to pick one.
I can't pick one. I mean, the helicopter ride, I think, is untouchable. Like,
Did you touch
The
Gary?
stories.
Did I touch Jerry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Amy, I'm
A lot.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know if he hugged him or shook
Wait,
hands.
I wore a suit. He said, "Do you want to wear my suit?" And he took it off, and I put it on right there. I was
Just
like,
like that.
I'm Jerry Jones. Look at me.
Yeah.
We were tight,
We were
Amy.
all together for the whole. It was crazy.
No, the real question is, did you get his number?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's the main question. Like, okay, great stories. You got the digits?
Again, this is a personal thing I'm not going to share, but I will say that there's a possibility that
Yeah, leave it.
Okay.
Leave it.
Huh?
We're close. My boy.
There's a possibility. What does mean?
They're tight, man.
I
They're
don't
tight.
want to share personal things.
No. Okay, you're not going to go to. You may go to Thanksgiving in his house. I got it.
Thank
cool.
you.
But
No, that's next year. Christmas is coming up.
But what is we might
Well,
mean?
I can't share that right now. I want to make sure everything's cool. I don't want to do anything over the line that they don't want me to do.
I will say, though, there was definitely a connection between you two from the beginning. Arkansas, you guys would talk about places that only you two knew about. Like there was definitely a connection where I thought, like, man, this is cool. Like they share something that a lot of people don't share together.
I was like, so on the 64 team, when you guys and you played, this coach, and he was like, you did your homework. I go, no.
You
I didn't do
know
any
it.
homework. This is life for me, buddy. Mike, favorite moment real quick before we go, just in general?
Aside from the helicopter, the amount of time we got to spend on the field was amazing. Seeing all the players warm up, that was awesome.
Are they really big?
They're big.
And
They're
fast.
gigantic.
And then they look at you when you yell their name. Right, Eddie?
Yeah, they do.
Because
And then you don't know what to say.
They're like, there's a coach yelling at me. He's 5 feet from me. Oh, wait, nope. Who's that?
Yeah, Dak looked right at Eddie, and Eddie was like, "Oh."
Yeah, Dak was confused. Like, are you a Make-A-Wish man? Instead of a kid?
Yeah,
Are you a
I
Make-A-Wish
could be.
man? Yeah. Okay, that's that. It was amazing. 25 whistles. Go follow that. I want to thank all the Dallas Cowboys organization. They were fantastic. We have so much more to do. We finished, and they were very complimentary. And they were like, that's the best interview we've ever heard Jerry do. Because I didn't just go and be like, hey, this week, who's starting wide receiver?
Right.
Tony Romo. Good dude. We really got into like
Deeper than that.
It's a Bobby Bones show.